I hear sound. I hear the sound of an old, heavy, rusted door of the shed open. Light comes into the dark shed. I start to wake up.
先輩、起きてますか?
I don't even need to check who's here. Oh, so it's that time already. Taking a breath, I open my eyes.
おはようございます、先輩。そろそろ時間ですよ。
そうみたいだ。おはよう、さくら。起こしに来てくれてサンキューな。い
え、お礼を言われることじゃありません。先輩ならきちんと起きてくれるって分かってましたから、私は余計なことをしただけなんです。
そっか。けど、ならなんでわざわざ起こしに来てくれたんだ？
わざわざじゃありません。今朝は先輩を起こしたくなって、いつもより30分も早起きしたんです。
That reminds me. That's right, today is a special day.
さくら、聞くまでもないと思うんだが、藤音はまだ来てないよな。はい、
内村先生はまだ。でも、イリアちゃんは先に来てます。
Oh, what the fuck. As I thought, Ilya being the only one here means one thing.
まずい。さくら、すまないんだけど、朝食の支度を頼む。俺、ひとっ走りして藤音を叩き起こしてくる。
はい。ご苦労様です、先輩。
Fortunately, I worked late last night as well, so I'm still in my work clothes. It's good I can go outside without having to change.
10分で戻るから、あとはよろしく頼む。
任せちゃってください。あれ、シロ起きてる。
今起きた。ちょっと藤音を起こしてくるから、さくらの手伝いをしてやってくれ。
Patting Ilya on her shoulder, I head to the front entrance.
やられた。もう、シロは私が起こしに行くって言ったでしょ。さくら！
Ilya runs to the shed, screaming. Such a scene isn't that unusual now. Ilya said she wouldn't go back to her country, so I consulted Fujini to see if I could keep her at my place. Fujini really objected, said her house was better, and ended up taking Ilya in. Since then, still staying at Fujimura's house, Ilya comes attacking with Fujini in the morning and at night. Needless to say, their target is breakfast and dinner. It's been 2 months since they started living together. They seem to be in union now. When I walk past the shed area, I hear voices over the wall. It's Sakura and Ilya talking. I thought Ilya would not get along with Sakura since Ilya has that really unreserved personality, but I was wrong. She also killed Sakura's brother, just like throwing that out there real fast. The two consisting of the energetic Ilya and the quiet Sakura are getting along well, even though they're rather noisy. In fact, Sakura is regaining her spirit because of Ilya. Sakura stopped smiling when her brother Mato Shinji disappeared and was considered missing. She must have vaguely understood the connection with the mass coma incident at the school. She was worried about the missing Shinji and moped for a long time. It was Ilya who forcibly made Sakura get over it, and Sakura regains her cheerfulness when Ilya is around.
Sakura, 笑えるようになったよ。
I mean, okay. I'm purely happy for that, because the soft smile certainly suits her. I mean, yeah, it's probably better for her that he's dead. It's just still weird.
ひどいよ、イリアちゃん。何があっても起こしてって臨時ボーナスまであげたのに。
Fujini scoffs down breakfast while crying.
当然よ。タイガーを待ってたら私まで遅れるし。 給金分は義理を果たしたわ。あれ以上の働きを要求するなら臨時じゃなくて基本給をアップさせることね。
むむ。私だけじゃなくおじい様からももらってるくせに、どうしてこの子は主戦度なのかしら。若い頃からお金にうるさいと周りの子に嫌われちゃうぞ。
嫌われて結構よ。好きな人以外なら何を思われても関係ないもの。それよりタイガー、貸したお金ちゃんと返してよね。給料日5日前だったんでしょ。
なんでそんなこと知ってるのよ、あなた。
タイガに聞いたわ。お望みなら明細まで話してあげてよ。
Ilya smiles daringly. Contrast to Sakura, Ilya and Fujini do not get along well. And to add, Ilya gets really mean when she faces Fujini. That smile right now is like that certain someone.
返済は明日までね。できなかったらタイガのお小遣いから引いていくから。
おじい様、そんなことまであなたに話したの？
ええ、お昼はずっと一緒だもん。ライがね、タイガより可愛いって褒めてくれたわ。
どうしてくれるのよ、シロ。この子とんだ悪魔っ子じゃない。このままじゃ藤村組が乗っ取られるわ。
Actually, more than that. You were still getting allowance at that age?
いってらっしゃい、シロ。今日は早いんでしょ。ならここで待ってるからすぐに帰ってきてね。
努力する。留守番よろしくな、イリア。
いっそのことここの子になっちゃえ、バカ。
Fujini sulks while hiding behind my back.
はいはい、タイガも気を引き締めなさいよね。外でシロに迷惑かけちゃダメなんだから。
Ilya easily turns aside her remark. The power relationship must already be at a position where Fujini can't push back by force.
じゃあ先に行ってるけど、のんびり歩いて遅刻しちゃダメよ、シロ。
Leaving the sound of exhaust, Fujini disappears like a bullet. Fujini got her license a month ago. Since then, her tardiness decreased considerably, but she has received another nickname of Rocket Tiger. I mean, Rocket Diver, whatever. That only she doesn't know about. Stretch out and take a deep breath. Sakura has gone to school already. Seeing how she was eating a large bowl of rice today, seems she is in real high spirits. Today is a big day for the archery club. Sakura must be enthusiastic to work hard as the co-captain of the archery club.
さて、それじゃ。
Let's go to school. Today is April 7th. There's a school entrance ceremony, and the season is past the cold winter and already into spring. It's been 2 months since then. It feels like a lot has changed since she has gone away, but I think the changes are trivial. Winter ended and spring came. That's all that's changed. I feel like I've grown up a bit, but it's not like that caused me to be any different. So not much has changed. Miyashiro is clumsily running after Kiritsugo as usual. Oh, I
お
was
はよう、エミヤくん。朝から顔を合わせるなんて奇遇ね。
おっす。今日もいい天気だな、登坂。
really thought she was dead, I'll be honest. Fuck it, I'm glad she's not. I don't care. I raise my hand and greet her.
けど奇遇か？ ここ最近よくニアミスするだろう。いや、そりゃ今までこう頻繁に出くわすことはなかったけど。
出くわすってあなたね。
Tozaka glares at me as if unhappy about something. I don't think it's good to send an aura of enmity first thing in the morning.
遠坂、もしかして登校時間変えたのか？前はもうちょっと遅かっただろう。早すぎず遅すぎずって時間だった。
そんなことないわよ。今まで顔を合わせなかったのは偶然でしょ。知ってる？エミヤ君と私の家、きっかり正反対の位置にあるの。だから普通に起きて普通に坂を降りれば、ここで顔を合わせるのは当然ってわけ。
へえ、それは初耳だ。そっか、それなら確かに。
Wait, hold on. It's only if we do the same things around the same time. For Tosaka to come to this intersection at this time, she would have to get up at 6. That's...
遠坂、お前眠くない？
I ask her directly.
何よその言い分。私は眠くもないし無理もしてないわ。なんだってそんなこと聞くわけ？あなた。
いや、お前朝弱かったから。寝不足で学校に行くと化けの皮が剥がれるぞ。授業中に居眠りなんかしたら大変だ。下手に起こそうものなら寝起きの悪魔みたいな顔した遠坂が暴れるんだからな。
Like, I will kill all that disturbs my sleep kind of thing.
そんなことしないわよ。たかだか30分の早起きで深くなんて取るものですか。
ほら早起きしてるじゃないか、やっぱり。
もう人の起床時間なんてどうでもいいでしょ。つまんない詮索をしてる暇があるならさっさと学校に行きなさい。
Tosaka gets angry while looking away. Her excuse is plausible, so I stop my greeting here and we resume our way to school. We go up the hill. The streets and the houses below me have all changed to show the coming of spring. The wind is comfortable and the cherry blossom flowers flutter down occasionally from the school on top of the hill. Everything that can be seen and felt is pleasant.
何？今週はほとんどバイトなの？まあエミヤ君の時間だから文句はないけど、そんなんで体壊さない？
ね？いや、今日ぐらいは休みをもらったよ。弓道部で新入部員の歓迎会をやるっていうから、イリアを連れて遊びに行こうかなと。
なんかさりげにすごい度胸してるわよね、あなたって。平気な顔してイリアを学校に連れて行くあたり大物だわ。
なんかまずいか？イリアだって暇つぶしになるって喜ぶと思うんだが。
まずいわよ。まずいけど、そういうことなら私もお邪魔しようかな。イリアがいるなら退屈しないし、何より危なっかしくって放っておけない。
I'm thankful that she says that. Tosaka, not Sakura or me, it's Tosaka, not Sakura or me that understands Ilya the most. The fact that she periodically takes care of Ilya, but more importantly, Ilya and Tosaka are natural-born magi. I think Tosaka would be a good teacher for Ilya, as she doesn't quite realize what it's like to live as a magus while hiding that fact. Thus, things are settling into the way they should be. The damage from the Holy Grail War is almost completely restored by the new priest dispatched by the church. And our man, that's embarrassing. And church really blew the cooch on that one. And our everyday life has returned without problems. There are certainly things that were lost and will not return, but the wounds have slowly healed and I should be happy about the regrets fading away.
けど意外だったな。
And then, Tozaka murmurs in a serious tone while looking down at the town below her.
意外だったって何が？
私、シロはもっと落ち込むと思ってた。しばらくは立ち直れないだろうなって思ってたのよ。
That is about the girl that isn't here anymore. It's been 2 months since then. It's about the gold-haired girl that we talk about for the first time since then.
そうだな。俺もそうなるだろうって思ってた。その後のことなんて考えるだけでどうかしそうだった。
けど、蓋を開けてみれば、シロったら今まで通りだったでしょ。落ち込むどころの話じゃなくて、次の日にはもうケロリとしてた。その時にね、こいつ大丈夫かなとも思ったのよ。うまく言えないんだけど、次の日にはあっさり事故で死んじゃうような雰囲気だった。
Oh, shit.
なんだそりゃ。なんで平気なのにあっさり死ぬんだよ。
そういうこともあるの。人間ってのはね、何かの手違いで一生涯の目標を叶えちゃうと、それでぽっくりいくものなのよ。もう生きるのはいいやと思った途端、赤信号なのに車が突っ込んできたり、あっさりと階段から落ちたりするんだから。
Okay. Tozaka's metaphor is difficult to understand. She might want to say something about peaceful death and going to heaven or something.
だから、私はそれが心配だった。ああいう時はね、いっそ派手に落ち込んでくれた方が周りは安心するものなの。
なんだ。じゃあ落ち込んでたら慰めてくれたのか、登坂。
まさか。背中に蹴り入れて一日で立ち直らせてやったわよ。それができなくて残念だって話。
She looks away in displeasure. Her gesture looks so funny that I laugh.
何よ、おかしい？
いや、とにかく遠坂らしい厳しいセリフだったんで安心した。
We both walk on looking up at the spring sunlight. The hill is long and it looks as if it'll continue on into the endless blue sky. And as if saying something trifling.
じゃあもう未練はないんだ。セイバーがいなくなってもさ。
Tosaka murmurs while looking up at the sky.
ああ、未練なんてきっとない。
It's not a bluff, and I say so with a calm state that even surprises me. There is no regret. I don't have anything I forgot to tell her. Parting contained everything. What I wanted to do, what she dreamed of. It was a competition of our determination, and maybe I should have taken her hand and granted her dream. But there was something we both felt that was beautiful, and we desperately protected it until the very end. There was nothing to feel regret about. As she properly ended her time, I cannot remain in this reminiscence forever.
シローの中では決着をつけたってことね。だから落ち込むこともなく、思い出に浸ることもないってわけ。
けど今も夢に見る。これから先もずっとあいつのことを思い出すよ。いつか記憶が薄れて、あいつの声もあいつの仕草も忘れていく。それでもこんなことがあったと、セイバーっていうやつが好きだったってことだけはずっと覚えてる。
Tosaka doesn't say anything. but for some reason, she looks happy and starts to walk as if she's skipping.
どうしたんだよ、遠坂。そんなに急いで。なんかあったのか？
別に、ただ早く学校に着きたいなって。さ、そういうわけだからシローも急ぐ。のんびりしてると置いてくわよ。
Turning around, Tosaka starts running up the hill.
なんだあいつ。朝弱いくせに無理して。
Grumbling, I throw my bag over my shoulder and start to run. It's still 7:30. It's too early a time for a student not involved in any club activities, but I guess there's nothing wrong with being early. Running up the road that seems to go up into the sky, I reach the school earlier than usual. Today is the day the New Year starts. If I am to celebrate it, I have to shake off my old memories and hurry up. Traces will never go away, even if I almost cry from the vacancy hitting my heart. Blue sky is in the distance. It feels so close that I cannot grab it even though I reach out with my hands. I looked up at the stars before, the stars that I cannot reach and the wishes that will not be granted. There is nothing we have been able to leave behind for each other. Therefore, traces and memories will disappear someday. But still, even if it will not reach her, there should be something that will remain in our hearts. There is nothing that remains in our hands, but we lived the same time and looked up at the same things. If I can remember that, I can believe that we can be together even if we are far apart. I can assent that as there are things that will go away, there are also things that will not go away. That is why I will keep running for now. If I aim for the distance, there should come a day when I will be able to reach out to what I have been aiming for. Winter has passed, and it is spring, the season of new beginnings. Under the blue sky that she has also seen, I keep running up the hill. The battle has ended. Her last battleground, the battle that was fought between the split halves of her country, ended with the king's victory. The night is running. The battle has ended. The bloody red sun has already set, and the darkness of the night is already ruling over the battlefield. The hill covered in corpses is filled with curses, crying out to try to take the survivors with them. Though it is all the night's run, panting, she has the sheaf now. A rein in the knight's hands, and the wounded white horse earnestly follows him. The only survivors are the knight and this horse, and this one king that is lying on the white horse's back.
Oh, Asao, こちらに.
He must be wounded himself, but the knight runs through the battlefield with all his energy. The king he is serving is on the verge of death. The king has defeated the enemy's king in personal combat, but the king received a fatal wound as well. The wound is fatal even in the knight's eyes. The king that they have served will soon reach death.
お気を確かに。あの森までたどり着けば必ず。
He desperately calls out. Well, possibly the knight might have really believed it. That their king is immortal. That as long as the guidance of the holy sword is there, the king would never die. He breathes hard, passes over the mountain of corpses, and heads for the forest that is not covered in blood. He knew of the king's immortality. Therefore, he believed the king's wound would heal if he escapes this cursed battlefield and makes it to a pure place. No, he could only believe so. He believed his own king, unlike the other knights. The king was isolated in the court, alienated by the knights, and was feared by the people. But the king will not show emotion even in such a situation, and always stayed as an ideal, and the knight felt pride in his young king. He did not serve his country. He had entrusted his sword, struggled to be of power, and made his way to be a personal guard of the king as a young man because it was this king, the masked king, the boy who tried to allow no personal feelings and to be fair. He might have hoped to be able to see the king's true face if he went near the king. He just wanted to see the king's true expressions. Not the face he put on during battle or in the castle, but a real, smiling face of a human. It should appear in the court when he had been released from his duties. No matter how perfect a king is, he cannot strain his mind 24 hours a day. But that thinking proved wrong. The only thing he found out was the truth, contrary to his expectations. He had made it to the rank of Imperial Guard and was able to guard beside the king. He has guarded the king closer than any other knights and kept watch on the king's behaviors. But still, it does not happen even once. His king never smiled. Since when did he feel anger toward it? The king had accomplished so many great deeds and has accrued much glory, but in fact the king never showed a peaceful face. He could not approve of that fact. He wanted to believe such a thing should not be allowed. That is why he wished for his king to be awarded the light. But he has yet to accomplish that. The king is still isolated. That is why the king continuously did not approve the king's death. He cannot end it here. He thinks that this great king is not rewarded enough for his actions.
お、今はこちらに。すぐに兵を呼んでまいります。
In the forest he reaches, the knight lays the king by a large tree. The situation is a race against time. It takes half a day, no matter how much he hurries, to go to the port where his own army is left. Anyone with eyes would be able to tell if the king's life will last till morning or not.
どうか、それまで辛抱を。必ず兵を連れて戻ります。
He salutes the unconscious king and runs to his white horse.
ベリビエル。
Before that, the king that should be unconscious calls out his name.
おう、意識が戻られましたか。
うん。少し夢を見ていた。
A faint voice, but that voice seems warm to the night.
夢ですか。
He calls out as if to search. The king's consciousness is not certain. He shall go back into the darkness unless he replies so.
そうだ。あまり見たことがないのでな。貴重な体験をした。
それは。では、どうぞお気遣いなくお休みください。私はその間に兵を呼んでまいります。
A gasping sound. A sound as if the knight said was unexpected.
おう、何かご無礼な点でも。
いや、そなたの言い分に驚いた。夢とは、目を覚ました後でも見れるものなのか。
Now it is the knight's turn to be surprised. He stutters, but replies even though he knows it's a lie.
はい。強く思えば、同じ夢を見続けることもできるでしょう。
Such a thing is not possible. What happens only once and not continuously is what people call a dream. But the knights lie in spite of that. He apologizes that this will be the first and last dishonesty he will perform toward the king.
そうか。そなたは博識だな。ベリビエール。
The king murmurs as if impressed. His face is still looking down, and he does not even look up at the knight. The king breathes so softly that it can be barely heard and quietly.
ベリビエール、我が命権を持て。
The king gives his last order in a faint voice.
よいか。この森を抜け、あの血塗られた丘を越えるのだ。その先には深い湖がある。
おお、それは。
The knight knows what that means. The sword of the lake. To let go of the sword is proof the king, and what protected the king means the end of the king he has served.
行くのだ。ことを成し得たのならばここに戻り、そなたが見たことを伝えてほしい。
The king does not take back his order. The knight takes the holy sword and goes over the hill with indecision still in mind. And then it hesitates, returning the sword for 3 times. The lake was certainly there, but he just could not throw the sword in. If he throws the sword in, the king will disappear. The knight is unable to throw away the sword from his unwillingness to part with the king. The knight turns around and returns to the king. The king repeats to the knight. As the knight lies to the king that he has thrown away the sword, the king only replies, "Follow his command." To disobey the king's command is a great sin for a knight, but still, he disobeys the king's order twice. He was reluctant for the king's life when he faced the lake, but that comes to an end. As the knight figures out he cannot change the king's decision, he throws the sword into the lake on his 3rd visit. The holy sword returns to the lake. A white hand appearing from the water receives the sword, and after going through the sky 3 times, the holy sword vanishes from this world. And the knight finally accepts it, the king's end, that the duty was too long and has finally ended. After crossing the hill 3 times, the forest is covered in morning sunlight. The battlefield is afar. In the pure light mist that does not show any trace of bloody battle.
湖に剣を投げ入れてまいりました。
The king opens his eyes at the knight's words.
そうか。ならば胸を張るがよい。そなたはそなたの王の命を守ったのだ。
The knight nods silently to the voice facing death. Everything is ended. Chaos in his country would still continue, the battle will not end, and the day of ruin will come around soon. But the battle of the king has ended. She fulfilled her duty until the very last moment. The light disappears, finishing her task at her last
すま
strength.
ないな。ベリビエール。
Her last strength disappeared from her body.
今度の眠りは少し長く。
As if going to sleep slowly, she gradually closes her eyes. The morning sunlight fills the area. The forest stands there quietly, and his king goes into a long sleep. The knight keeps watching over her figure. The king that he wished for. A lonely king that was seen off by just one night. But her face is what he wished for, a peaceful sleep. In her last moments, the king has obtained peace that she has never been able to obtain. He's just happy about that fact. The knight thanks the someone who has given her peace and proudly watches over his kill. The heaven is far and the clearing sky is blue. The battle is truly ended.
見ているのですか、アーサー。
His murmur rides through the wind, as if sinking into the endless blue, the king that went into the to sleep.
続きを。
Sees a distant dream. A battle has been fought and is now over. Place your sword upon the ground and rest it in temporal peace. After dozing into the warmth of a dream, a new day will begin. The day keeps passing by, and we will chase the same star we once saw. I got it. I nailed it. Wow. That was a lot to process. I recorded this footage like a month ago. Now I'm gonna do commentary over the credits. So I'm just gonna give you some of my random thoughts about what's happened so far that I can't really find a good place to put anywhere else. And then I'm gonna tell you what's next for this channel. I was so sure there was time travel in this. I made that pretty obvious. I made multiple references to it. And I guess technically I was right with the whole saber thing, but it's just not how I thought it would be at all. What I thought was going to happen would be that at the end of each route, something would happen where they would go back in time and that would change things for the next route. And that's why things would be different. But it doesn't appear, at least by the epilogue, that that's how this is going to work. It seems like the decisions for each route just don't appear until that route becomes unlocked for whatever reason. For game reasons, not timeline reasons or in-universe reasons. It seems pretty arbitrary. I get there's probably an order they want you to experience each story, but the fact that there's just non-in-universe blocks is bugging me. Maybe it's not actually like that, and I'll see, but that's how it feels like it's working. I held on to this time reset thing for a long time, all the way through, even up and through the epilogue, right up until like the final line. You can hear me say it in this. I thought maybe, hey, Saber should have the sheath now that she went back in time with it, whatever. Maybe she'll survive the lethal blow from the battle at Camlin. That's not what happened, but even to the last minute, I thought something was going to change the timeline here. So that when she is summoned again in the main story, she'll have her memories or something, and that will change the story. In hindsight, this is what I should have saw coming, because people used to always talk about for the animes, if you were just going to watch Fate anime, you should watch Fate Zero or Fate Unlimited Blades Work, and then watch the other one, and then go from there. And just worry about those two as your starting point. And I always thought that was really weird, because shouldn't you have to watch the regular Fate Stay Night anime, even if it is the bad one, in order to understand these other two stories? But no, they're all self-contained, which is kind of crazy. It now makes that explanation of why those two are the ones you need to start with make sense, because Unlimited Blades Works and the Fate route actually don't interline, but it's crazy that they did it this way. All right, now that I got that off my chest, what's next for the channel? All right, in 2 weeks, I'm going to come out with a Fate route review. Since the Fate route seems to be its own self-contained story, I'm going to give a review, get my full thoughts out there, just let it all out on the table. That review is also going to double as an award show where I'm going to give out random various awards for different characters who achieved the best in certain categories, including the coveted Waifu of the Route Award. Get the final standings on that, and we'll also give a final score. In between those 2 weeks, at some point, I'm going to also put out the Last One Standing Royal Massacre video at that one guy's request. Why not? I don't have that big of a community. I'm in the room to just take requests right now. After both those things are done, we will finally move on to the Unlimited Bladesworks route, but things are going to change just a little bit. I'm getting rid of the summaries. Frankly, they take up a lot of time. They're my least favorite thing to do. And frankly, I think they're the least important part of the videos. So I'm just cutting the summaries entirely and replacing it just with the live commentary. You'll get the full picture instead now. Even through the boring parts, I'm still going to cut past the sex scenes unless there's something particularly funny. But other than that, everything's going to be, this is pretty much going to be a normal Let's Play. Also, getting rid of the summaries is going to give me more time to do like those little cut-ins, because I like doing those, but I don't really have a lot of time to do them because the summaries have been taking up more and more time. So yeah, more confetti, more Guess the Servant, more party blowers, just more things that aren't just me describing how Amiya takes the next 30 minutes to describe dinner, and now I'm just going to show you him describing dinner, and you'll get to experience it together. Or you could skip those parts altogether if you want. This, however, does have the side effect of leaving me with more footage on the table, which leaves me with a few options. One being just making longer episodes, the other being spreading out the series longer and drawing this out more. If I keep doing one episode every Saturday, then while I'm also recording a full 5-hour chapter, each chapter is going to take 5 weeks. Honestly, I don't want to do either of those things. I think 1 hour is probably the ideal length for these episodes, and I think I would like to finish this before the end of 2021, so I can't afford to be just doing 1 hour episodes once a week. So the solution is kind of simple. I'm just going to have to put out more episodes. So from now on, there's going to be one episode every Saturday, and then another one during the week, possibly 2, depending on how long the chapter's running. Without the summaries, it's going to be easier for me to make the episodes in general, so this shouldn't be that big of a problem. One episode every Saturday, another one sometime during the week, depending on where I can fit it in my schedule, a second one, a third one, where we need it. Now, Christian, I hear you not thinking. This series is called Fate Stay Saturday Night. How are you going to be able to release episodes for something called Saturday Night on things that aren't Saturday night? To that I say, you're right. If I'm releasing these also during the week, can't call it Saturday night. Therefore, some rebranding is in order. The series will from henceforth be known as Challenging Fate, a series where, and I cannot fucking believe I'm about to say this and bind myself to this contract, I am going to cover every piece of media in the Fate series until it or I die. Oh God. Well, I'll see you in 2 weeks for the review, in 3 weeks for Unlimited Bladeswork, or sometime in between whenever I finish Last One Standing, if you are interested in that. Good night.